everybody. Hello. I just wanted to say that you are doing perfectly fine right now. That if you feel like you have missed something or you feel like you aren't doing enough in any way, that is a lie sent from the enemy. Because that's just the prime way that you can be open to that realm of entities. And if you're not careful, and if you're not filling your mind with the Word of God, or coming into stillness and presence, allowing Him in, and recognizing Him, then you will be very easily swayed into these thought patterns and ultimately deceptive nature of this world. And when I was doing my art right before this, I felt so right. I felt so perfect in where I'm at. And I find that when you are applying yourself and doing things intentionally that you love and that makes you feel connected with your inner self, with your most wonder-like spirit that is able to just be and exist in this playful ordinance, then you're able to really step into what is for you, and within certainty that you're exactly where you need to be. If you're choosing that for yourself, if you're choosing to dismount all of these wants and things that you are prioritizing and pedalizing over this, which is never to be grasped or defined. You can't know until you experience. You can't reveal what is in its own way of coming forth for specific individuals, but we all have access to it. And so that's why He's calling you to pull closer. He's calling you to seek Him in the midst of the challenge, because your weakness is made perfect in Him, and you will begin to see His face ricochet upon those limiting self-concepts, those thoughts that come out of nowhere that don't deserve any attention, and the control that you want to dictate in your life is really in the hands of what is the creator of this, right? What is destined, you're putting back into place, and you don't gotta worry for it's doing too much, for it is taking away of this precious now, which is not to be fought for, which is already bestowed on to every one of us, and we just have to acknowledge it. We just have to acknowledge that it's worth our attention and our focus, and in that you are allowing that honoring and that re-establishing of that which is belonging with you, and you're opening up new ways of it expressing into everywhere that you step, right? And it's just such a peaceful way of living because you're not so distracted by things that aren't going to ever be forth longing satisfaction. They're really just here and then they're fleeting, they're temporary. They're just little glimpses of what it could be if you were actually walking inside of that always, and you don't have to seek it. This is what the enemy uses, a sliver of the truth, and ties it to something else to keep you bound to it, to keep you idolizing and praising it and feeling like you have to go out of your way to attain what is already bought and restored for you and for you. And it's just in that way of like, if you are underneath the truth and you have no access to it, that's exactly where it wants you to be, because in that way you're isolated and you don't have that gateway into what is actually going to allow you to fulfill what you were made for. All of these things that you are questioning in your life, why are they like this? Why is this like that? Why do I feel unfulfilled? And why do I feel like I am constantly seeking and I feel lost? And I think that everyone else has it all together, but truly, truly, I tell on to you. If you do not call on to me, then how would you know? Truly, truly, the first should be last, and the last should be first, because when you think that you know, you certainly don't know. When you're so sure in something, then you have to be taking that risk of, wow, what if the possibility that I have it all wrong? You know, the confidence that could be in the deception that you have the ability to manifest whatever you want into your life is going to make you fall. Because sure, you can focus, you can use your brain that God gave you to intentionally pull things into your life and attract that. Yes, yes. But there is some form of self-idolization there. There is some pride, there is some vanity hiding beneath that, because you're putting so much of that power onto you when you're not recognizing that what is actually breathing air into your lungs, what is allowing everything to be in motion, what is sustaining these trees for so many years and is keeping this earth here and is allowing us the grace of being in this time when it's beyond all of that and it's outside of our realm of capturing that, but we can be intentional in existing with it. And that is exactly what I want to remind you of. If you feel like you are not knowing exactly where you're going, if you just put your trust into that and you're saying, I have absolutely no way of guiding my life. My will is not correct. What I desire will make me fall 7 times, and he will pick me up because he knows that we were born into this state of rebellion and being obstruct in our ways and not exactly having the right heart's desire. But if we are able to give that to him, give parts of ourselves to him, and fear him amongst everything else, is to really prioritize that we are belonging with him and we are allowing everybody and everything that we come across experience that, knowing that we are guarded in that way and protected, and really just allowing that to forecast and be that which dictates our life and not just what we want in the now, because unfortunately everything will consistently repeat. Once you do today, by his mercy we have tomorrow, but are you going to acknowledge that he has set up a new day for you to pull closer, and for you to choose that over what you have already done time and time again? It's like a resetting, and in this way it's not even deserved, but look at us, we take it for granted all the time. And because our fellow humans that we might be walking with that are maybe immersed in the world don't acknowledge this either, then who can we look to? Who do you run to when you feel like you might be on the cliff of your experiences that have directed your steps, and you've been placing them in your heart, and you've been carrying that pain, you've been carrying all of this hardship amongst yourself and others, and all of that's been your idol in a sense. And it's so sad because that pride of pain will really take you so far if you're not willing to acknowledge that you are love in every sense. And once you can express that, once you can invite the author of that into existence with you, then you're going to be so far and running and hiding from that, and you're not going to allow it in because you're afraid of it. But really, it's like you have to be open to getting to know it, to be curious again, and to allow yourself to release all of that, because as much as it's comfortable to you to be apart from people and to feel like you are a lone wolf and to carry it on your own because that's what you needed to do, that was the strength that you felt like you needed to live with. But if you can just let it off and just put it into Christ, then he can carry that for you. For his burdens are lowly, his yoke is light. And as much as we think we can do it because we think we've been doing it, but really we have been supported this whole time, and it's just like in coming closer to that sustaining force, you will be actually able to be revolutionized in a sense of like all of these things that you have been repressing and holding from the world, then you're able to give and have the courage and the bravery to do so. I'm sorry, this lighting is so bad, guys. Ooh. But it's in the not knowing and the questioning, the curiosity is where you'll find all the answers up here, because you're still and you're quiet and you're not seeking your own self-deceptive heart. You're just allowing yourself to be like, you know what, maybe I don't have everything figured out, maybe I am struggling in this area, but guess what, I'm going to surrender and I'm going to give it up to something more higher than myself. And then if you just might wait, then you might see something actually change, and it might allow you to see that there is something deeper to be withheld in this experience here that might not just be spoken so loudly of sometimes because of the just because it's a world that is fallen, and that it means that there is going to be a bunch of directionlessness going on. And so if we don't know who our shepherd is, then we're going to be running with the sheep. You know, we're not going to be the leaders of the flock if we don't get into the word, which was made to be a leverage in this, to be a sword, to fight off of all of this casting of darkness in this world, to be our confider when we feel like we are casted out, when we feel like we are the black sheep, to come back to that and know that we will be met with being received, and being tended to and nurtured and binded up and healed ultimately. And in this, you have to trust that that which is not seen is doing all of this in the process, and it is restoring you, and that which is only in this secret place is where it is found, and that's within every one of us, in the heart that goes beyond the flesh. So that's where you want your will to be connected to. There is so much dimension to this, and it is sometimes hard to press into when you have all of these things to attend to, but this is the most important thing because it attends to you, and it gives you a new chance. So don't take that in vain. Don't live in the focus of what you want, what you wish to become, what you want to attain, what is externalized to you, because genuinely it's within the self and the spirit and the acceptance of you. It's you. Re-announcing and reapplying yourself and giving yourself what you think you need from this world, because ultimately, if you just abstain from these things just for a little while, you will be met with everything, and you can trust He will show up. because the world's not always going to give you, and it's never going to be sealed in lasting substance. It's just it's a perplexed notion that is always ceasing. And for what is that? If how can we even trust in this if it's never going to give you surety in what it's going to bring? That's why God is above all of this, and he can give and he can take away. So that's why it's important to direct your face and your heart and give it all to him, and you will be given much more. But knowing that it's not even for this world, because it's for ultimately you to be enlivened and for you to flee from death, for you to be with your ultimate extortion of this, to come be met with the possibility that you may receive eternal salvation if you continue to believe with all your heart and all your soul and direct your mind and everything that you do onto him. And this is hard, but it is to be endured because it is testing your faith. It's testing that you really do truly give way to your soul, for it to actually be where it was created to be, in the likeness of Jesus, the perfect human to ever exist here. So draw closer to that, guys. I'm so sorry about this quality. It's okay. It's beautiful out here, and you're beautiful too. I love you guys. Bye. Never forget it, okay? Okay.